Hey there, everyone. This is Chris McDonald. Welcome to Turkey Trot Tech Prep 2022. For those of you that have been hibernating for the past 10 months or so, it is 2022. We still have people joining, so as always, I'm going to give them a couple more minutes, or maybe not a couple more minutes, a couple more seconds, and then we will get going. This is being recorded, so you will have access to the slides and everything afterwards. There'll be a blog about it, so if for some reason you do have to leave, we totally understand. But if this is your first time using GoToWebinar, there should be a kind of a menu bar on the side. There you have the ability to ask questions there. I have Matt Avery on the back end helping me answer those questions. And if we get the same question over and over, then we'll go ahead and pause and make sure we float the response out to everyone so that everybody gets the benefit of knowing what everybody's asking. So with that being said, I think our attendee joining rate has slowed down a bit, so we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Chris McDonald, as I already said. I have a bunch of different titles here. One is Race Day Ninja. The other is Race Day Expert. I'm a race director and timer like a lot of you guys. So a lot of what we're going to talk about is not necessarily just concepts. It's actually been implemented at races. So feel free to ask questions, maybe not specific to your race, but just general to races in general, and I will hopefully have a response for you there. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and there's going to be a lot of situations where I say, go check out the help guides on the back end of RunSignup and go check out our YouTube channel. And the reason behind that is we regularly put out content about how to use a lot of these features and how they mesh together, things like that. So we don't want to spend 3 hours talking about the entirety of RunSignup today. Instead, we're going to spend 40 to 45 minutes talking about specific items, reminding you that they're there, and then if you need a deeper dive, that there is content out there for you to kind of dig in and learn more about these tools. So first, we're going to be talking about streamlining RunSignup, specifically about group discounts and referrals. We're going to touch into the email marketing features and then kind of dig into pre-race emails. I think a lot of people miss some easy buttons in those pre-race emails. We're going to go into giveaway inventories. Again, when I start working with new races or races that might have been kind of stabbing at it on their own without getting help, they miss out on these inventories that can really help you with your kind of streamlining your event. We're going to talk about race day registration, do's and don'ts, race day check-in, and we are not going to go into everything there is to know about the check-in app. Why? Because we have probably 30 hours of video on how to set up the check-in app, how to use it, both the participant and volunteer side. We'll talk briefly about dynamic bib assignment. We're going to chat about race joy results and then race day photos. So with that being said, we're going to go straight into streamlining RunSignup, talking about group discounts and referrals. So for those of you that have not done this before, setting up groups and teams is not challenging, and 30% of participants who have the ability to join teams do. They don't have to mean that you're setting up results categories. Now, you can set up competitive categories. If you're going to do that, I'm going to say this a lot as a timer, you're going to want to talk to your timer to make sure that they can support those teams and things are set up correctly. So allowing for competitive teams can be a really, really fun addition to your event. But social teams are quite literally the biggest easy button in the world. You set them up and they're just for fun and there are no competitive consequences. Now, one thing I will say that I think drives a huge group of people to register, and that is giving an award for the largest team. So does that put undue stress on your timer? No. Does that put undue stress on your staff? No. The only thing you're having to do is make like a hokey award. We have an event that took an old shoe, spray painted it gold, took a power drill and a block of wood, spray painted the block of wood black, put a plaque on the front of it, and drilled the golden shoe that I mean, I'm sure they cleaned it first, but drilled a golden shoe onto a block of wood with a cheap plaque on the front, and it went to the largest team. And year one, you might not have lots of buy-in because people don't know about it. But year two, they had a huge uptick in people creating and joining teams, all to get this old shoe. And it was a perpetual award, so they made it once and one and done. They kept it coming back year over year. So it's a really, really easy way to encourage people to participate without putting any extra stress or money or anything on the line. And another thing you can do with teams is fundraising teams. So most turkey trots are for or pointed towards a nonprofit, and so it's a great way to focus on raising money and not necessarily focusing on the race itself. And again, the same way you can run reports and see what fundraising team raised the most money. And same thing, you could have the right shoe and the left shoe, and one of them goes to the biggest team, the other one goes to the biggest fund or the most money's fundraised. So again, just some creative ways to engage teams. Now, once you have those teams set up, it'd be a really great idea to incentivize them. And there are some tools that we have on the back end. If you go to participants, groups, teams, and pricing setup, you can automatically discount or refund anyone that joins the teams that hits a certain size. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, well, I want to give a $5 discount to anybody on this team. Something to consider is doing this automated price or refund once it hits a certain size, so that somebody can't just go and create a team of one and kind of abuse the process. So this will satisfy that discount demand and incentivize price-sensitive participants. And this goes with family and friends. Now, can somebody say, hey, join my team, you'll automatically get a $5 discount? Absolutely. But they're also, in saying that, providing you with organic marketing by telling their friends that, if you register, I can get you a discount. It's the same thing used when somebody's buying, fill in the blank thing online. Hey, does anybody have a discount for such thing? So it will help drive registrations, and it will help participants recruit others to participate and register. So the example here is regular registration for $39 with $5 discount for members of a group of 5 or more. So the first 4 people. Now, this is something that you need to understand. The first 4 people are going to pay $39. When that 5th person registers, everyone after pays $34. And at that point, the first 4 are refunded the $5. So if you get inquiries about like, hey, I'm creating a team for this $5 discount and they don't have 5 people on yet, this is what's going to happen. So just let them know that that $5 will come out of the refund reserve that you guys have built in. I think the stock refund reserve at RunSignup is $200. So that will kind of keep working. So and I always tell race directors, it's kind of like a cup. It's the first thing that fills with water. You're pouring into the cup. The first thing that fills with water is your refund reserve, and then everything else overflows into your actual account. And then once you refund people, you dump a little bit of that refund reserve out, and then that fills back up, and then it goes back into your operating account. So the next piece of the puzzle on streamlining is email marketing features. So there's a lot of nice tools on the back end of RunSignup, and if you're not already using the email version 2, you should check into that. It's a really slick way of building out emails. So some suggested emails that you're going to send out are, hey, you're open. Now, we're already in October. If we're talking turkey trots, which we are, hopefully registration's already open. So maybe that one's off the table. But for the others, you can set these up right now. Incomplete reg emails. This is for you went in, you got halfway through registration, but you did get to the point where you put your email address in there. This will send a drip campaign. You can set up a drip campaign. Hey, we saw that you almost registered. Please come back and register with us. We'd love to have you. Registration follow-ups. It's an automated way to promote your referral program. And so this is somebody's already registered, and you can do automated emails on specific dates or on specific intervals that say, hey, thanks for registering. Be sure to tell your friends, that kind of thing. Now, price increase emails. This is kind of obvious. A lot of people set these up, and you can set them up like 2 and 5 days or something like that before price increase, and send it out to all previous participants and exclude current participants. So it's a great way of saying, hey, price is about to go up. You might want to jump on this. And then you can also use the special promos to capitalize on any specific thing coming up that you might need to tell people about. And then finally, you have your pre-race emails. And this makes race week a bit easier on you and your staff, and we'll show you how. And then post-race emails, a lot of people will send out like a thanks for racing with us. Here's a 5 or a 10% discount on next year's event, just to try to capture people while they're still on that kind of runner's high from your event. So this is the active V2 or the V2 email platform. And so by going in and selecting current participants for your pre-race email, you can add in, and I'm not sure if it's very visible, but I'm going to select my current participants here. I'm going to include them. And then I'm going to say, bring this coupon code to packet pickup. And it's got my replacement tag of registration ID QR code on there. And you can put other calls to action like submit virtual results, things like that. And so what that QR code does, just while we're talking about it, it's a replacement tag. So each person gets their individual QR code. That QR code points to their registration ID. And so when you're using the check-in app, you can set the check-in app so that it auto opens to the phone or the camera, and you can scan that QR code on there, and it auto brings up the participants, so you don't have to type in things. So it's very, very helpful. So streamlining RunSignup giveaway inventories. The giveaway inventories, it's utilizing the giveaway inventory tool in RunSignup. This helps streamline packet pickup and manage athletes' expectation in advance of arriving on site. So it's really easy to use. This removes the need to put in cutoff giveaway selections, like time cutoff. So maybe you have to order your shirts 3 weeks in advance or 2 weeks in advance. A lot of people will go in and say, okay, no more shirt, and we're not going to allow anyone to select a shirt size after we place our t-shirt order. Well, this allows you to keep asking that question, because you're putting in the number of shirt sizes, and so once they're gone, that option is no longer available. Now, I will say you will need to add a no shirt option to each one of your events. And that way, each person, if all the shirts are gone, they have to select the no shirt option. And then this integrates with the check-in app, and it's a really, really slick feature. So where do you go to do this? Race, giveaways, add-ons, and giveaway inventory. Like I just said, you do need to add a no shirt option to all of your open events. And this will provide a live breakdown of how many and of what sizes are still available. So you can see with this first one, our total quantity for youth small was 50. We currently have 0 available. So that option is grayed out online. No one can select this shirt. Our total quantity of youth medium was 40. We currently have 5 available. So again, like people that are still registering for the event, they will still be able, the next 5 people will still have the opportunity to select that. Now, something to note, if you're making changes, because you can allow for changes in the check-in app, if you make changes in the check-in app, it will override inventory amounts. And so what that means is if you have someone in the check-in app and you're allowing those changes, so we always kind of are hesitant to tell people allow for all these changes. So if somebody has a youth medium and they're like, oh man, I really wish I had a youth small, and you're allowing people to change it, it will allow, even in this scenario that you're looking at right now, it will allow the volunteer to override that. And what you will see right here, you will see currently available, and in red, -1. Actually, I think the whole thing goes red. So it will override it, which means if you're allowing volunteers to change it, you can oversell your inventory. So please be mindful of that. Okay, on to race day registration. And again, if you want to learn more about those, go to our YouTube channel or our help section, and there are plenty of help guides and videos on how to set each one of those up. So race day registration. So here's a little intro to on-site registration, and that is packet pickup and on-site registration is likely the first time your athletes get to see you. And so it's really, really important to get all this set up correctly. And we on the race day team we laugh because we say this so much, and that is test things out in advance. It is, I'm looking at the date right now, you've got a month and a half before your turkey trot, unless you're doing your turkey trot in October. But that means you have plenty of time to set some of this stuff up. Register yourself or your friend or your dog or whomever and test things. Go to the site. Do you have an internet connection there? Are your computers that you're going to be using updated? Do you have a power source? These little notes here are not like things that I'm just randomly thinking about. They are actively things that I personally have experienced at races. Do you have an internet connection? Does your MiFi work here? You know, if you're in a concrete bunker, it's not going to work. You might need to have another option out there. Are your computers updated? I had an event that didn't update their Chromebooks, turned their Chromebooks on, had limited data on their data plan. The moment they turned their Chromebooks on, it went into an update and completely depleted their data plan on their MiFi, because it was a club's MiFi. They didn't want to pay for the unlimited data. And so they no longer had updated computers, but they didn't have internet anymore. The power source, like you're going to run into a point where, you know, if you don't have a power source and your packet pickups all day, you know, if you're inside, you're needing a generator, and that's not going to work out well. So work through some of these things. And then by setting expectations in advance, you can limit confusion. So with those emails, clearly state whether or not you're accepting on-site registrations. You do have to make sure you have registration open at RunSignup, even if you're limiting on-site registrations to just the kiosks. You still have to have registration open at RunSignup. And then you need to train. You need to take a moment, maybe the day before, maybe the week before, have a pizza party, and train your volunteers how to handle questions or issues. It's going to make your life a little bit better. So most events are holding on-site registration during packet pickup. However, the RunSignup on-site registration page can be used as a registration station at any point after it's been turned on. So some events are setting up these stations at like running stores or sponsor locations. So you don't have to wait until packet pickup for this, but most people are using it in the packet pickup scenario. So there are also multiple types of on-site registration, and these can help keep lines to a minimum. And then by regular promoting the price interval increases, it pushes people to register, it limits late registrations, and it helps race directors and timers project how many things they need for like bibs, shirts, medals. And personally, I love the idea of once you start on-site packet pickup, you need the night before that happens, you have a price increase. Why? That way it's that last little bit of people, and maybe it goes from $40 to $50 or something like that. It gets all those people out of the way, so they're not going to try to show up on site because they want to save that $10. Perfect. So on-site registration. So there's 3 different things we kind of talk about when we talk about on-site registration. One is paper forms. Yuck. That's all I can say. If you're the race director, you don't have to do data entry, then slow clap for you. If you're a timer, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you're a race director that has to enter this for the timer, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you're the race director that gets beat up on price points because the timer doesn't want to enter it, you know what I'm talking about. So paper registration forms, there is a time and a place for it. Totally understand. But if you have internet and you have computers, try, if you can, to stay online. It helps everyone out. Now, let's say you don't have computers, but you want to allow for continue taking race day registration. So these QR codes are auto-generated for you at the RunSignup level. So if you go under promotion and then links and then scroll down, you will see this section right here. And so I've selected medium. If you go large, it just made it so big that you couldn't see any of this other text. But you can right click on this and save it as an image, paste it into a Word doc, and put your logo at the top, and underneath say, for race day registration, use this QR code, and post it up as you're walking, like as the athletes are walking up into pack and pickup. Same thing goes, there's a results link there as well. If you're going to be pushing results to RunSignup and you don't want to print things out for the timers, or you don't want to have a scrolling TV because maybe it'll be wet or something like that, same thing. Copy that QR code, put your logo on it in a Word doc, and then say underneath, scan this QR code for results, for live results. Obviously, talk to your timer before doing that because we want to make sure you're going to have live results up. So this QR code will help decrease the number of people you have coming up to pack and pickup for on-site registration, because they will have used their phone. Most people would much rather use their smartphone than sit at a computer. But if you do want to sit at a computer, you can still do that. You need to set this up, and that is under Race Day Tools, on-site registration, and you need to enable on-site registration. Now, you're going to get a lot of things once you click enable. It's going to open up a lot of information down below. So this link right here is not the same link I just showed you. It is not this link. Remember, for this link, promotion, links. This link is scannable if you have a device that has a camera and you want to create a device that has on-site registration. Otherwise, you can click this blue button or this copy link button and email it to yourself or put it on a Google file or whatever, and you will be able to see it, and you can type that URL into your other devices that you're going to be using for on-site registration. So this is just for scaling your devices for on-site regs. This is not for actual on-site reg. So don't post this QR code anywhere. It just won't do you any good. So the on-site registration password is the password that someone would need to enter when setting up their device for on-site registration. I usually make it pretty easy, and I usually use the hint as the actual thing. So for this event, it is reg1. That is the password. So there are some optional settings. I wanted to allow cash payments instead, or with credit cards. So there's a cash payment password. So I made my cash payment password for this specific event, cash1. Now, the only person that needs to know this cash payment password is the person managing these on-site registration devices. So your registrar or your treasurer or whomever is going to be around these, because they're going to say, oh, I'm paying cash. But if you don't hear from them, they're putting their credit card information in, they hit submit, they get in line with pickup with everybody else, and all their information is on the check-in app like 30 seconds later. If they're paying cash or check, they will stop and say, oh, hey, I'm paying with cash or check. And that's when the registrar doesn't yell out this password. They walk over and type in the password, because once this cash payment password is entered, it's assumed that you have taken their money. So underneath that, you can show bib assignment. So you can allow manual entry at this point. You can restrict this or registration for specific events. Like if you don't want to allow people to register for the virtual event that you have set up, only the in-person events, you can select that. You can also customize required fields. So you can limit, and it shows you what it normally asks. So you can limit what those people are being asked or require them to answer other things. And then finally, the last thing is on-site registration only. So if you click this button, you're turning online registrations are disabled. So what that means is that if you go on your phone or somebody's sitting at home, they cannot register on their devices. And it'll have a registration closed setting or message, and you can update that message here. So again, this is only used if you want to take on-site registrations on these devices, but you don't want anybody to be able to register any other way. Now, there are some people that really like this feature. I am not one of those. I think that if you're taking these registrations, you want to be able to get those people in. The thing about packet pickup and on-site registration that stresses everybody out is that it's like a bottleneck. And so the more people you can get registered, the better off you are. And so by providing more and more options, the better off you are. So some best practices, some of these we've already said. Turn on-site registration well in advance and test it out. Register yourself. Demo the process to the volunteers who'll manage the process. You can give yourself a coupon code. You're the race director. Make a coupon code and delete yourself out afterwards if you want to, or whatever. I tell people to do this all the time. They rarely do, but it's a very, very good idea. If you are going to use the on-site registration mode, go ahead and set the home page of any of those devices to that on-site registration page. You want to write down your on-site registration password and your cache password. Let me be clear when I say this. It's bold. It's red. Don't make this the same as your RunSignup password. It is not that important. If somebody has the on-site registration password, it literally only means that they can go in and register through that path. Now, if they have the cache password, it's a little bit more of a problem if they also have the on-site registration password and the on-site registration link. See how many layers there are for somebody to cheat the system? So don't make on-site registration or the cache password something super hard. It's just something you and your team will need to know on-site. You want to print out QR codes for regular registration, place around the packet pickup area to allow folks' smartphone to register on the device. And if you're going to have limited or no access to internet, you need to plan ahead. You need to cut off online registration before you download for the last time. That means when you're leaving your house in that morning, you do a download and then, you shut off registration and then you do that download and then have printed out copies for on-site registration forms if you need it. So race day check-in, both participants and volunteers. Again, there are tons and tons of information here on our RunSignup YouTube page. So I am not going to go into great depth about the check-in app, except for, I say this all the time, it is hands down the coolest feature that RunSignup has ever produced. And I know other people will argue other features, but the check-in app is a tool that every race director and timer should be using at every race. I have races that I go help out with that aren't even on RunSignup. When they close registration, I make a fake event in RunSignup. I import everybody into RunSignup just so I can use the check-in app because it is that powerful. So it expedites the check-in process for all participants and volunteers. It dynamically syncs with other data points such as registration, bibs, and scoring. It easily processes check-ins and changes, and you get insights as a race organizer. So for 2022, we're expecting around 2 million people checked in through this app. It's used across all type of events all over the US. It is 100% free, and it's available on the Apple and Android for phones and tablets. So again, if you've got devices I would download it. It's a very, very cool tool. So if you've not used it before, you must enable the check-in app in RunSignup before it appears in the app itself. So you can download the app in the App Store, and then you can call us and say, how much do I have to pay to get my app or get my event on the app? And we're going to chuckle and say, all you have to do, we're going to send you an email back. All you have to do is go to Race Day Tools, Race Day Check-in, and mobile app. Now, if you look at the dates I have on here, I've got 9/23/2022 to 11/29/2022. Why would I have check-in enabled for this long? Well, it's because the check-in app is only available within the your event is only available in the check-in app for the dates that it's enabled. So if you say, oh, well, packet pickups, for my it's only Wednesday and Thursday. So I'm going to have Wednesday all day and I'm at Thursday morning, and then we're going to do our turkey trot. So I'm going to start it at 8 a.m. on Wednesday, and I'm going to shut it off at noon on Thursday. Guess what? Your event is not going to be visible in the app. Why? Because it has to be enabled whatever day you're trying to work on it. So if you're reading this and learning about this and you're like, I'm going to go work on this, that means today is October 13th. On the East Coast, it is 2:30 p.m. That means that you should set, at minimum, if you're leaving this and going to start work on your check-in app, you need to set your enabled check-in app to be 10/13/2022 and 2:30 p.m. at bare minimum. If you're on the West Coast, you can do the math. We're on East Coast time right now. But just obviously subtract what you need to subtract. So also, password hint, keep it simple. Don't make this the RunSignup password. This is a password that you're going to give to all volunteers. So your password might be uppercase T, turkey, 1-2 exclamation mark, something simple. Because again, you're going to quite literally shout this to your volunteers like, hey, this is the password if they're using their own devices. So some key settings, this is what it looks like once you get in there. Some key settings here that you want to enable. Most events are going to want to require the bib. They're going to auto show camera on bib assignment if you're doing QR codes on the bibs. For bib assignment, that would be the dynamic assignment. You'd want to show giveaways. A lot of times you're going to allow uncheck-in. You're going to prevent duplicate bibs, and you're going to validate bibs. There are lots of additional settings like waivers, event transfers, depending on what type of specifics you have for your event. And again, I'm not going to go into how to do everything on this because we have literally hours of content on our YouTube channel. I think we did a talk 2 weeks ago on setting up the check-in app. And if you're not comfortable setting everything up and you're using a RunSignup certified timer, reach out to them and see if they'll set it up for you really quickly. A lot of the timers that use our platform a lot would be more than happy to help you get set up with whatever bells and whistles you needed, because if you get the data in there correctly, it helps them because with clean data in the system, the timer is working with clean data. On to RaceJoy. So RaceJoy is our tracking app that we have, and it integrates in with the RunSignup database as well. So what you're doing here is you're elevating the athlete experience. A lot of people started learning a lot more about RaceJoy when things went virtual due to COVID. The funny thing is a lot of people have kept those virtual options in their toolbox and are offering them because people are out of town but still want to be a part. They still want to get that t-shirt and that finisher medal. They still want to post their results and feel like they're a part of the event. And so you're offering a socially connected event experience, and you can put in participant tracking and cheer sending. The participants are tracked by remote spectators through their phone. So what that means is no equipment is needed. And on top of that, it's engaging the spectators with your event. So they're not just standing there for, if it's a 5K, 15 to 45 minutes. If it's a longer event, even longer. And plus, you can create custom Thanksgiving themed audio. And if you're doing virtual turkey trots, it is an awesome tool to put out there. You can schedule those to play along mile points or specific places along the course for virtual and on-site. And if you're wondering where to do or how to get RaceJoy, it's available exclusively through Race Day certified timers. So there is a listing. If you're, well, number one, if you have a timer already, ask your timer if they are Race Day certified and RaceJoy certified. If they're not, tell them to get certified. And if they are, then obviously they'll be able to help you out. Some additional features, like we talked about, remote spectators can send Thanksgiving cheers in the app. You have central monitoring and communication systems in there with off-course alerts for on-site events. There is a results integration, both virtual and in person, and you get progress updates every mile. So the monitoring system looks like this. You can click in and get individual paces, things like that, so you have an idea of where things are going. If you are using RaceJoy, one of my favorite features is we set up a false account for the lead out cyclist and the SAG runner at larger events. And that way we always know where the first person and the last person on the course are, because you can go in on the back end once it's all set up and you can see this course map. And so this is kind of a blown up view of seeing the athletes on course. And so you can see that, most of the people in this event have passed mile 11. So, and then you can click into specific people and get ETAs and things like that. So I know, like, again, as a timer, I'll have the race director come up to me and say, hey, what time are we expecting that last person? Or, where are they? Oh, I can say, oh, they're at mile 10. What's their ETA? Well, their ETA is 8:13 a.m. So it's a really nice tool to have. RunSignup results. So in case you didn't know, because every once in a while I meet people that didn't know that you can push your results up to RunSignup. So they can go up live to RunSignup, especially from scoring platforms like Race Director and Race Day Scoring. So ask your timer if they have this ability, if it's not already happening. And then if it's activated, RunSignup will actually send text and email notifications to the athletes of their results. So this is what the results look like. I'm sure most all of you have seen this before. But under Race Day Tools, Results, and Setup Result Notification and Links, if you click this button right here under Setup, allow participants to sign up for text messages and email notification of results. If you click that, when a timer pushes the results up to RunSignup, especially after from Race Director and Race Day Scoring, that syncs with their registration ID, and then from there pushes out those notifications upon the result hitting RunSignup. So, and again, like for this event, they have the 5K run walk and it's on. They have the kids fun run, but the Phantom Runner, which is like their virtual option, is turned off. And they are allowing split notifications for this specific event. Some perks of results at RunSignup: athletes can go in and on that results list right here, they can click in to an individual result and get a breakdown with additional information with gender plays, combined overall, paces, things like that. They also get a link if you're pushing photos up to RunSignup and custom finisher certificates. So you can make all of this. You can post videos as well. And all of that links into the person. So it's a really, really nice feature. They also have the ability to share this page right here out via social media. So just, again, it's a great way to get information out there about your event. And then this is what the photo side looks like. We're going to talk about that here in a second, so I won't go into that. So race day photos. So the idea here is to improve the race day experience. Happier participants creates repeat participants. I think we'll all agree on that front. And then the positive word of mouth side is powerful, and organic marketing is some of the most effective marketing. And people will share these out, so you're getting social endorsements of your race, and that increases registrations. And a lot of people are going to see this, and they're going to say, you know what, that's cool. I'm going to do that race next year. So now you've kind of pivoted that spectator into participant. So you're also making race day last forever. And I know leading up to it, you might feel like, oh my God, race day is lasting forever because you're doing all the prep, you've got all the stress and the excitement and everything like that. But after the fact, keeping that race day energy and that vibe lasting forever is really what you're going for. So photos are a shareable asset, and it brings your participants back to your race website after the event concludes. So now, if you've got registration open, boom, they're back to the race website, reminding them to register. You've got sponsors that are paying. Well, now those, the number of views keeps going up. So all of these are super, super helpful things to help your race, not just for this year, but for next year. And it provides an instant reminder of the fun from the day. It's the same thing as, once printed as a finisher medal or a t-shirt. You're spending a lot of time, energy, and money on those. Why not spend a minuscule amount of time and energy on these photos? And again, it's free. So it also gives you a great place to go and look for images to use in future advertising for your event. So many people get 4 months out and they're like, oh, we need to start doing our Facebook ads or our Instagram ads. Like, man, I wish I took some pictures last year. Here you go. Where are my pictures? Oh, they're at RunSignup, because you can download them too. So keep that in mind when you're setting all this up. And photos connect people. They're downloadable, easy to share on Facebook. Friends and family will see it. Again, the biggest thing though is watermarks on photos provide an additional branding opportunity for or sponsor reward. So it's a way that you can build into your sponsor levels. And a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't want to put a sponsor because I want to put my race logo. Think through this. It's a JPEG that's going on there, or a PNG file. Make one with both of your logos on there. It's a great way to put your race logo and a sponsor logo on the same thing. How do I set it up? I go under photos. It's as easy as it gets. Under photos, photo setup, and you set however you want it set up. Here's your watermark option. You can, if you're allowing for other people to upload photos, you can require approval so that nobody posts something they're not supposed to. You can allow for tagging if you want to. You can make the photos private if you want to. You can sort the photos, and you save that. And then you go into photos, and you can quite literally upload them by clicking and dragging, whatever you want to do to get those photos up there. What does it look like? Well, you type in some information, and you see this is the result set here. We typed in Bob's name, his results popped up. We click on it, and we've got photos from his event. And then other photos that have the sponsor logo built in. So just a review of what we've talked about today. I'm sure there's going to be some questions or things that we need to chat about. But we've gone into streamlining RunSignup, setting up groups, discounts, email marketing features, especially with that pre-race email, giveaway inventories and how to link that in, race day registrations, your different options, and testing things in advance, race day check-in, and how to use that dynamic bib assignment. Again, the check-in app is your friend, and setting up using the QR code on the bib will make your life so much easier. Where to get Race Joy if you need it and what it does, that you can push results up to RunSignup, and how and where and why to use race day photos. So with that being said, You know, my favorite part of turkey trots is knowing that I am going to get stuffed at the end of it, because usually about the time I'm done, I get home and Thanksgiving dinner is on. So with that being said, I'm sure there was some questions. Maybe not. Matt, were there any questions that we need to go over?
Just this one that I was about to respond to. Lade is asking, how does the photo section know that's Bob? Does it pair it up with a bib photo? So that's exactly right. What it will do is it will detect any numbers in the photos, and it will look at our database, and it will see Bob is bib number 1027. I got a bunch of photos that have that number inside of it, and will associate those with his result automatically.
Yep. And one thing to think about, because most of you have not yet ordered your bibs, and that is, if you're going to use these tools for bib assignment, we kind of suggest using 4-digit numbers. I didn't think about this, and I got a complaint from a race director. And I was like, I don't know why John Smith keeps getting tagged in all these photos. It doesn't make sense. I was like, what's his bib number? He's like, oh, it's bib number 45. And look back through, can't figure out what's going on. And then finally, one of the developers is like, there's a speed limit sign in the background. So it was capturing the bib assignment tool was the bib image tool was capturing the speed limit sign in the background and assigning him in every picture. So if you're using 4-digit numbers, there's less likely a number in the background that's 4 digits.
As long as you skip over the current year.
Yes. Yes, so you should probably skip 2022. Or maybe start at 3,000, because maybe somebody's wearing last year's or 4 years ago's shirt. It will, if it's clear enough, it will tag off of those as well. That's a good point. So another question about how often should marketing emails go out now to Thanksgiving? Oh boy. I mean, the thing to remember is if you blast them every day, you lose your voice. And I kind of laugh about that. It's like if you're yelling, you finally lose your voice. I feel like I'm losing mine right now. But it's the same way with email marketing or just marketing in general, or at least email marketing. If you're emailing your database and you're sending something every day, you're going to lose your voice. They're going to stop opening it. So I would just make sure that if you are reaching out, that there's a point, there's a call to action. You know, like the price is going to go up, register now. You know, guaranteed shirts are by this date, register now. Limited number of finisher medals left, register now. Stuff like that. Or we've had groups that give things away. Anybody register by this date, we're going to give away an Apple Watch. And anybody registered by whatever date, you know, and you haven't already won something, you're going to get free tickets to a concert. So I just wouldn't blast it out for no reason. Like, you'd need to have a call to action if you're going to send something out. And the other question is dynamic bib assignment through the mobile check-in app. I did not go through that. I'm letting you know it's there. If you go to youtube.com/RunSignup, there are multiple videos on how to do that. So I'm sure we could go through it sometime, but it's just, we have a lot of content out there for exactly how to set all that up. Give it a second for any more questions. So there's a question: if one person picks up the whole family's bib numbers with the check-in app, do they get a confirmation of which number is whose, or do we have to write names on bibs? So there's two options here. One is write names on bibs. It will individually check the people in, so you will know who gets what bib. But there's also a feature Now you would have to purchase it. I don't know how long my cable's not long enough. I was going to pick up. There's a printer, and again, if you go to the help desk, there's a printer, and you can print that out. It will sync with the app. I will say though, if you're planning on doing that, don't just buy the printer and think it's going to work on race morning. You will need to test it. It is the setup has some challenges because if you've never done mobile printing, it can be a bear. So personally, I think one of the easier ways, especially for smaller events, is writing the name on the back of the bib.
Steve was asking, is there an alternative to the Brother printer you have recommended for printing dynamic bib assignment labels? We have only really tested with the Brother 810W and haven't gotten any feedback from people who have tried other printers. Technically, anything can work as long as the label sizes line up with it. So if you have one that you wanted to try and test out and let us know that it works or doesn't work, feel free to. But the Brother is the only one that we have officially tested. Unfortunately, we can't go and buy every single printer out there and test every single one.
I've heard whispers from a timer that the 820 printer, the QL 820, works. I've not personally tested it, so I can't tell you. I've used the 810, but the 820 also has a screen on it, which the 810 does not, and so it might make things a little easier with a screen on the printer.
Yeah, any of the Brother printers should work perfectly fine. The real issue could come down to the label sizes that are available on the printer that you get, whether or not they'll work well with what we spit out.
And again, I'm just making sure I say this very, very clearly. Don't just buy one of these printers and open it up 10 minutes before packet pickup and then start sending support tickets in, because you need to practice this. The setting up a printer like this is not, it's, you need to practice it. You need to do it in advance, because we're not supporting the printer. We're supporting the printing. So you need to make sure you can print test stuff off of your phone to the printer, because it's not the printer itself is not something that we produced out there. Let's see, there's another question. Do QR codes come on bib numbers from RunSignup or come from the bib company? Those come from the bib company. So if you're ordering custom bibs, you would want to leave, I think most bib companies suggest no smaller than like a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. I like 3/4 by 3/4 inch square. So I leave I'm trying to see if I have any bibs I could roll over and get a bib. Let me do that. So leaving a QR code, like I leave a square on the bib itself and ask the company, the bib printing company, to replace that with a bib or with a QR code that points to the bib number. So when this number is scanned by any, not just our app, but any device, this right here, oops, everything's backwards. This right here points at number 1821. You don't have to use QR. You can use barcode. I don't know if I have any barcodes sitting around, but barcodes work the same way. It's basically like a text. So you just need to make sure it's like, I think it's like star on either side. So it's like star 1821 kind of thing. Any other questions before we wrap up? Or just about to our hour, which was what our goal was. So I don't see any more questions coming in. So thanks so much, guys. We really appreciate you guys joining us. Again, I'll say it a million times, test things out, get things set up in advance, test things out. showing up on site and testing things is not the best way. So we appreciate you joining us today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at info@runsignup.com. And yeah, best of luck in your final preparations. And looking forward to having an awesome turkey trot for 2022. Take care.